Welcome to another episode of the Mindset Recruiting Podcast. I'm Alex Rojas, your talent advisor and host. Today's episode, we're going to talk about 5 tools that you should be implementing if you don't already have them. This is the technology stack when it comes to chat, technology, and how you communicate with candidates. Now, chat technology, it has been around for the last couple of decades, so it's not anything that's new that's come to surface. SMS texting, it really originated in the 1980s, but it wasn't until the 90s when cell phones really began to incorporate it as part of their service. Now, messaging apps or messaging in general, that was introduced into the marketplace in the early 2000s. And if you can remember a time, America Online, Yahoo Messenger, they were the first ones that really streamlined messaging in a way to communicate with people, interacting that way. Now, it's been a slow, gradual process as far as how we've really adapted to change and really communicating with candidates as recruiters. And it really wasn't until the pandemic recently, in the last few years, that chatting and texting was thrusted into our lives. And actually, ChatGPT, just having the word chat in there, has really normalized the ability for us to really communicate and engage with bots. Now, talent acquisition, the industry has been really slow to adapt to this technology. And so a lot of times recruiters are old school, old mindset, OGs, right? And so what happens is they become too dependent on emails, too dependent on LinkedIn emails, or leaving endless voicemail trails with the candidates. And so the candidate is really expecting a different type of experience, a different and more convenient way of communicating with recruiters, with companies out there. So I'm going to map out the 5 ways, the methodologies that you as a talent acquisition team should be using and implementing today. Okay, so the first chat technology stack that we want to talk about is the most common one that you see as a consumer, as a customer, and they are chat bots. I typically think of chat bots as meet and greet bots, right? They're their very first interface, interaction, impression that you engage with. Now, chatbots have really become a standard in most product and service type of companies, and you really get to see them a lot during the tech support sort of experiences that you go through. Now, chatbots are artificial intelligence powered programs, and really the concept is that they are there to simulate human conversation. So a lot of times these chatbots have what I call FAQ bots, and so they're able to provide information to the consumer if they're doing searches. A lot of more of the old school type of technology interactions, or really decision-making tree type of powered AI. Now there's generative, there's deep learning, machine learning. So they're evolving, and obviously with OpenAI and Copilot, they can actually get even more powerful. But ideally within the talent acquisition space, they're great for sort of that initial candidate inquiry. They even can be used for scheduling interviews, conducting surveys, or if you want to transfer them over to a live recruiter, a live agent. That's typically the standard in the format that can be supported. Now, industries that have really embraced chatbots have been the airline industries, cable companies, real estate, even the retail companies. They do a great job of really embracing this technology and developing these call centers to service their customers. Now, another part of chatbots that's tied into it is what's known as the 5-digit text code. Now, the 5-digit text code is something that you have to apply through the utility company, and it's a way to enable bots. You can develop different types of campaigns, different types of themes, and these bots can be used for inbound and for outbound. So they're constantly going back, interacting with your customer, with your candidate. In this situation, in this case, this is really where automation is at its best. And you're probably familiar with this when it comes to sort of political season, right? Political organizations that reach out to you, and sometimes it's considered spam, but they do a really good job in engaging and interacting with their customer base when it comes to that. So bots can be a really robust technology stack that you can incorporate into your talent acquisition technology stack portfolio, and it's one that I highly recommend, that I have seen some success with organizations that I've been a part of as well. Okay, so the second chat technology stack that you should be considering is the live chat experience. Now, this is going to piggyback off of chatbots because initially the chat experience in that chat window is a way to engage with your customer, with your candidate. But at a certain point, you have the ability within these bots to transfer to a live agent, they call it. Now, again, not many talent acquisition organizations know how to do this. I have found this to be a very successful way to really enhance candidate engagement. Now, this is real-time messaging at its best between candidates and recruiters. What's great about this is it's instant gratification for candidates. If I'm a candidate and I'm going to a career site and I'm a visitor, I'm probing, I'm looking, I'm researching, I land on a particular position that I'm interested in, the only options I have is either to apply and hope and pray that a recruiter will call me back someday or email me, or perhaps there's a chat bot window that appears, and even better, I may have the ability to interact with a recruiter. So it really provides the candidate a great Q&A experience. They can inquire about application status. There might be technical support issues. A recruiter can actually conduct an initial candidate screening by being able to have this type of experience. And research shows us that live chats, it's about a 50% conversion rate compared to those that don't use that. So you're highly likely to convert a candidate just during those interactions. Another feature that's really becoming now available, and it's not really quite hit the marketplace, is artificial intelligence human assistance. This is the ability to use AI but still have that human assistance element. And this is important if you already have organizations that you have scripting, and it really just helps with a lot of high volume recruiting and screening that you need to do. Now, determining whether or not candidates are actually talking to a real live person or a bot, that still is an issue. And so we've seen situations where the candidate is still not convinced that that's a real person, when in actuality it is a real person that's texting or chatting with the candidate. So we still have some areas that we have to grow and get candidates more comfortable with, but incorporating live chat into your talent acquisition technology stack is a big, big, big win if you're doing it, or if you're thinking about adding that into your strategy. So here we are, the third chat technology stack that you should really consider. If you're not incorporating this, you're probably way behind the curve here. It is the virtual online chat events. That's right. There are companies out there that now have created these virtual chat event experiences. And so really, again, this was a technology stack that really kind of revealed itself during the pandemic, when we couldn't communicate in person, attend career events anymore within talent acquisition. So what's great about these is that it attracts larger and really diverse pool of candidates. So you can really eliminate a lot of those geographic barriers. You can even go globally. You can even do in person. You can actually target the talent audience that you want to go ahead and really invite to these events. So there's an invitational aspect, and there's even a qualification part of it too. You can actually invite candidates to attend these events, but even further qualify them to make sure that they meet the requirements of what you're looking for. So there's various different interactive features that can really happen during these live sort of chat events, and they can be company presentations, they can be demonstrations, demos, they can be a Q&A portion with your candidates to be able to answer any questions that they might have. Obviously, there's ability to live chat with recruiters. There's virtual networking. There can be interview rooms that can be conducted with hiring managers as well. Now, when you're hosting a virtual online chat event, it's also very cost effective because you don't have to spend the money and the resources for in-person events. You're eliminating expenses like facilities and travel and hotel accommodations, even the manpower to support these events, the booths. There's a lot that goes into that. And so now you can really scale your ability ability, if you do it the right way, to really have these amazing experiences with your candidates. Another big pro about this is you have the ability to obtain analytics and insights into the attendees that actually engage. So this means you can get data as far as who's registered, who didn't attend, what the attendance rate ratio was, the level of chat interactions, how long was it, how many happened. The duration of chats is really important, but also you can even monitor kind of the content engagement metrics that are associated with that as well. Also, the ability to follow up with these candidates and what the next steps are is really important from that aspect as well. So there's a whole plethora of reasons here why you should be excited about incorporating online chat events into your technology stack and your portfolio. Okay, so the fourth chat technology stack that you want to incorporate into your company, and this is again is another standard one, but it's how you utilize it, is messaging applications. So the messaging apps, right? These are things like LinkedIn messaging, WhatsApp, Facebook Messenger, but I think internally using systems like Slack and Microsoft Teams, those are really important ways and very convenient ways that you can really encourage and build a culture of communicating internally with your teammates. So it really produces those channels for continuous communication. Yes, you can incorporate these apps and leverage them for candidate communication as well. That is happening globally, especially global talent acquisition recruiting outside of the United States. They're heavily dependent on these apps when it comes to WhatsApp or Facebook Messenger as a way to engage, especially when it comes to global recruiting. So again, just like everything else, quick updates, questions that you might have, it's a great platform to leverage these apps that you can incorporate into your technology stack. Now, Facebook, they did this survey. They said that 56% of people would rather message with a business than to pick up the phone and call customer service. I mean, we're still annoyed by having to call customer service. But again, the level of engagement that a candidate can have through these messaging apps, if you can't do it text, if you can't do it in the other ways, the messaging apps is a great bridge to be able to provide that level of communication experience. Now, the most effective way in leveraging these apps, I believe, is by building communities. And again, you can do this internally and externally. And I believe, and I've seen this, I've done it within my companies, within my organizations that I've been a part of. When you build communities within your organization, teams, and you have the ability to go ahead and start these feeds just like you do in any other social media platform, it really embraces the spirit of texting, of messaging, of collaboration, of sharing information and documentation, and providing really best practices, tips, tricks, and again, creating a culture of connection. And you can do that by leveraging messaging apps. So here we are, the fifth chat technology stack that you should be incorporating into your talent acquisition organization, or at least be thinking about it and putting it on your roadmap. This is a very simple one. It's one that we do every single day. It's text messaging. I know it doesn't sound earth-shattering here, but I can recall a time not too long ago, and I'm talking about maybe 5-6 years ago, when I decided to text candidates, and I actually did it from my own personal phone. So the first time I actually went through a texting experience with a candidate, I got a reply back immediately. And the reply back from the candidate was, texting is for family and friends, and you're neither either one of those. So please don't text me again. Talk about disheartening, right? I could have taken that and been like, wow, I'm not going to text any candidates. But I knew that was just the start of it. Everything takes time. Communicating with candidates in a different format takes time, and including text messaging. So there has been a plethora of texting companies that have come out there and offer apps and the ability to do that. There's been a lot of acquisitions with texting apps being gobbled up by CRMs or ATSs as well. And so really that gives us the ability to offer direct and an immediate way to really reach and engage with our candidates, especially if you're already interacting and engaged with them. Texting with candidates is a great way to provide provide quick updates, urgent reminders, whatever it might be that comes and surfaces that you need to get a hold of your candidate. Now, ZipWhip, they conducted a survey about text messaging. This is a big number here, but they say that 98% of texts that are sent has an open rate percentage. That is unbelievable numbers. That means a likelihood of you sending a text is almost nearly 100% that somebody on the receiving end is going to open up that text and at least review it. That's comparable to 20% for emails. So it makes it a really highly effective, engaging way to communicate with your candidates. And again, there's a plethora of texting applications that are out there that you can use with your personal phone, with your company phone. The ability not only to text one-to-one, but to do mass texting is also incorporated. There's also automation features, drip campaigns that you can use in some of these texting applications as well. And that's why if you haven't embraced texting as a basic foundation within your technology stack when it comes to chatting with candidates, I highly encourage you to do so. So there you have it, the 5 chat technology stack tools and systems that you should be incorporating into your talent acquisition technology roadmap stack. So if you have them currently, this is a great opportunity to level up or enhance some of these systems, some of the process, some of the workflows. Again, there's new technology, there's new tools, new upgrades that are hitting the marketplace. If you don't have it, I'm going to highly encourage you to really start thinking about how you can be a little bit more strategic in applying these levels of communications that ultimately that's what chat technology brings. It enhances that communication, overall candidate experience. It really increases your responsiveness time, and more importantly, you're able to build a talent community based on that. So like anything else, like any other tools and technology that you incorporate, there's always going to be an integration component. How you integrate into your recruitment process, your workflow, for that matter, your CRM or your ATS. But there are so many APIs now and Chrome extensions that now plug into a lot of these systems that it's relatively easy to do, and it's not that complicated. I have spent the last 5 years working intimately with some really amazing companies out there that have rolled out some really great products and tools. I've embraced it, and that's why I consider myself to be a chat technology evangelist. And if you're interested in talking to me about your chat technology stack and where you're currently at, what does your portfolio look like? What is a roadmap? If you need some advice, some consultation, please feel free to reach out to me. I would love to talk to you about that. It's something that I'm very passionate about. I hope this episode was informative and helpful. And like always, want to make sure that you get the most out of it. Please be sure to like and subscribe. And until the next time, remember, it's all about the mindset.